£60 million first summer signing. The players reportedly turn on Erik Ten Hag, but Ineos willing to keep him as the manager until the end of the season. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this evening's live show. But before we get into that, please do me a small favour. Let's try and see 200 likes on this evening's video. And please subscribe to the channel if you are new. So let's start the show off by talking a little bit about Ten Hag, because obviously that's the big talking point at the moment. Lots and lots of journalists here in the UK coming out with the same story, that apparently Manchester United, Ineos, are going to keep Erik Ten Hag until at least after the FA Cup final. So remember, we've only got 3 Premier League games left. We play Arsenal on the weekend, then we play, I think, Newcastle midweek, then Brighton next weekend, and then we have the FA Cup final. So I think it's 25th of May, our last game of the season. 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks now until the season ends, which is absolutely crazy. About 2.5 weeks from now, the season will be finished. And Erik Ten Hag apparently will be the manager for the Arsenal game, be the manager for the Newcastle game, and be the manager for the Brighton game. Now, I know some people in the fan base are sat at home saying, oh, get rid of him now. You know, maybe another manager comes in and we win the FA Cup. I mean, that's a possibility, because the other thing we wanted to talk about is these same journalists are saying that apparently Manchester United players think that Erik Ten Hag has already been sacked effectively, and, you know, they've given up on him. That's kind of what the general message is this evening. But until after that FA Cup final, Erik Ten Hag's job is safe. The story says Manchester United have no intention of sacking manager Erik Ten Hag before the FA Cup final on the 25th of May. However, a number of players in the first team squad believe his fate is already sealed. So meaning that effectively he's going to lose his job, which is, it does kind of make me see why they're playing so poorly, because they're all like, well, he's getting sacked anyway. I don't really care, which I think is disgusting, to be honest. But are we really surprised? It just frustrates me. It really, really does. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section this evening. Remember, this is a live video, so I will read out some of your comments on that. If you are watching it back on repeat, you can get in the comment section as well, of course. Yeah, it's disappointing. It is. Really, really is disappointing. I feel like the cycle is just repeating time and time again. We've been here before. We've been here with Moyes, we were here with Van Gaal, we were here with Ragnick, we were here with Ollie, we were here with Mourinho. It's just the same cycle repeating over and over and over again. Does that mean that Erik Ten Hag should keep his job purely because of that? Maybe not. I think he has made a lot of mistakes. I think the signings have been poor. I think the lack of tactics at times is an obvious thing. But when you compare that against the amount of injuries we've had, the Ronaldo situation, the takeover situation, the Greenwood situation, the Sancho situation, Rashford going out, getting on the booze and then not coming to training. Like, there's been so much stuff for Erik Ten Hag to deal with in an 18-month period. And I think more of the question is actually, is Erik Ten Hag, does he have the right mentality to deal with all of these things? And I actually think personally that he does. I think the way that he dealt with Sancho was correct. The way that he dealt with Ronaldo was correct. The way that he dealt with Marcus Rashford was correct. I think that to this point, the way that he's dealt with all of these off-field issues has actually been quite good, because effectively he hasn't just rolled over and let them do whatever they want to him. You know, he's stood his ground, and I rate that for him. He's trying to instill a mentality into these players that for the last 10 years they've effectively been allowed to do whatever they want. They've known that the club will back them over the manager. That's what's happened. You know, we saw it with Pogba and Mourinho. We saw Manchester United back Pogba and throw Mourinho under the bus. And Erik Ten Hag is trying to break that mould. It's just whether Ineos want to stick with him or not. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about that. Do you want Erik Ten Hag to remain as the Manchester United manager? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let's move over to Michael Olise then really quickly, shall we? Because it looks like Michael Olise will be Manchester United's first summer signing, which is, I think, exciting. We really, really need somebody to fill that right wing position at the moment. Antony is awful. I'm sorry. He is absolutely terrible. 100 million euros. I think that is honestly going to go down as one of the worst transfers in the Premier League ever. Genuinely. And that's not even being dramatic. 100 million euros we gave Ajax for Antony, and he's absolutely crap. But apparently, Ineos actually rate Antony. That's what the headline is today, that apparently they want to keep Antony at the club. They think he has a lot of potential. I mean, I think that's a little bit far-fetched from me personally. I don't think Antony's really shown us much. He works hard, but other than that, I don't think he's very good. I really, really don't. yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, but yeah, it was Fabrizio Romano who said this actually. So Fabrizio Romano said earlier on today that apparently Ineos regard Anthony as a very talented player despite having a bad season. So Ineos actually rate Anthony. They think he's really good and they think that he can become the player that we paid the 100 million euros for. I mean, there is obviously still that potential. For me personally, I would probably loan out Anthony next season, let him go off, build his confidence up again. He's not good enough at the moment to play in the Premier League, I don't think. I think you could send him off to maybe the Liga, maybe to the Bundesliga, and I think he'd go there and do really well. Do that. Worst case scenario, he increases his value and you sell him. But yeah, I think if a new manager comes in, Anthony's not going to be playing football for Man United. I would be very, very surprised because if Thomas Tuchel comes in, Jadon Sancho will probably come back, realistically. Like, I would be very surprised if Jadon Sancho doesn't come back to Manchester United if Erik Ten Hag is sacked. If Erik Ten Hag's still here, obviously Sancho won't come back. But if you're Ineos, right, you've got Jadon Sancho who's doing okay for Dortmund. Obviously, he's playing in the Champions League semi-final tonight. People were saying he did incredible against PSG. I don't think he did incredible personally, but he has been doing all right. People talking about Elise. So yeah, let's talk about Elise. Fabrizio Romano is saying that apparently Manchester United are going to start entering negotiations with Crystal Palace within the next 2 weeks. So will this deal happen? And I want you guys to let me know. Do you want Michael Elise at Manchester United? Now, I'll say this. Last night, Elise was the best player on the pitch. He was absolutely unbelievable. I think it was his trial. It was his Manchester United trial last night, you know? He was playing against the club that he wants to join. Remember, Michael Elise is a boyhood Manchester United fan. He dreams of coming to Manchester United. This has been widely reported. He has a release clause, £60 million. That's how much it will cost. Do I think he's worth it? Let's have a look at his stats together, shall we? So this season, he's played 17 times in the Premier League, although some of those appearances have been off the bench. So he's only played, minutes-wise, the equivalent of about 10 games, which isn't much. He's only played about 900 minutes in the Premier League, which we will talk about in a minute. But in those 900 minutes, he's got 9 goals and 4 assists. I mean, that's a really, really good return. Really good return. Compare that to Anthony. Anthony has been terrible this season. I'm sorry. He's got in the Premier League 1 goal, 1 assist in 28 games. Michael Elise has 9 goals and 4 assists in almost half the amount of games. So it's difficult for me to sit here and say that. I mean, effectively, we need someone like Elise. We do. We need somebody on that right wing. Our right wing is really, really weak at the moment. Now, I know people really want Mason Greenwood to come back. That's not going to happen, I don't think. It's very unlikely. People saying that Michael Elise is injury prone. That is obviously something we need to talk about because, you know, his injury record over the last couple of years has been a little bit questionable, being completely honest. He's missed 8 games this season. He missed 13 games last season. So, yeah, and it's both been the same injury. It's been a hamstring injury this year and last year. Now, is he going to come to Manchester United and just be another injured player? That is a strong possibility. He missed 60 days through injury this season, and he missed 135 days through injury last season. Now, to put that into context, Bruno Fernandes yesterday was the first time in 4 years that he's missed a game for Manchester United for injury. 1 game in 4 years. That's mad. Whereas Michael Elise, I know Bruno Fernandes is a freak. He is. Like, that's so rare. But if you compare that to Elise, who's only 22, remember Bruno's nearly 30. Elise's only 22. And in the last 2 years alone, he's missed nearly 25 games with injury. When you compare that to Bruno Fernandes, who's only missed 1 game in 4 years, like, maybe it is a bit of a concern. But you just have to hope that, you know, Manchester United do their due diligence. Are Manchester United capable of doing their due diligence? Previously, no. But you would hope with Ineos coming in that they will be able to, you know, to be able to identify whether he's injury prone or not. Everyone who's just joined, please smash a like on the video if you haven't already, by the way. This is a live video, so I will read out a couple of your comments in a minute. If you want to get some comments in, drop them in the live chat or drop them in the comment section. For me personally, Elise for £60 million is hard. It really is hard. If we've got a budget of 2 to 250, I think go and spend 60 on Elise. If our budget's like 100, I don't think we can afford to do that personally. Now, apparently, we've got 100 million guaranteed to spend this summer, and then the rest of the money will have to come from player sales. I'm expecting 100 to 150 million pounds worth of player sales. So I see no reason why this summer Manchester United can't spend 2 to 250 million, including sales. That needs to be the goal for this season. You know, we went through a list really quickly on the show this morning of players that are either leaving because of their contracts expiring or leaving because they're effectively not good enough. And I mean, we went through it and I'll do it again really, really quickly, right? So I've got 15 players here on my phone who should be leaving Manchester United this summer. And I'm going to run through it really quickly and I want you guys at home to get involved and let me know if you think I'm wrong. So let's do it quickly together. Donny van der Beek, sell. Lindelof, sell. Pellistri, sell. Hannibal, sell. Casemiro, sell. And Eriksen, sell. Now, I think I've been quite uncontroversial there. You know, you could easily say Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams is on my list. Let me refrain. You could say Maguire. You could say McTominay. You could say Mason Greenwood. You could say Sancho. You know, all of these people that have question marks over them. Sancho might do another loan at Dortmund. Greenwood might end up doing another loan at Getafe. Like, I haven't even included people like this on my list, okay? So the 100% list of people to be sold is Donny, Lindelof, Pellistri, Hannibal, Casemiro, and Eriksen. Those 6 gone this summer, okay? That's 6 players. Then you've got Amrabat, loan expiring. Brandon Williams, contract expiring. Martial, contract expiring. Johnny Evans, contract expiring. Varane, contract expiring. Tom Heaton, contract expiring, and Omari Forson, contract expiring. That's another 7 players who will 100% leave because their contracts are expiring and Man United have not offered them a new deal. So 7 people whose deals are up and 6 people who there is not a single person in this fan base who could argue should be staying. Donny, Lindelof, Pellistri, Hannibal, Casemiro, Eriksen. Like, I don't think anybody sat at home is going to be sat there saying, Hannibal has to stay, he's world class, like, or Donny van der Beek has to stay. Like, you're going to be sat there saying, get rid of them. So already we're into double figures there. That was 13 players. If you then add into it McTominay, Maguire, Sancho, Greenwood, I mean, maybe even you throw in a Rashford or a Bruno. I'm not saying I necessarily want those players to go. I mean, even Altay Bayindir, the goalkeeper, he's probably going to leave. Like, if Ineos are going to be competent, we should be seeing 15 to 20 players leaving this summer. And then we should bring people through from the youth academy. Maybe bring through 5 or 6 of the best players from the youth academy to be part of that first team squad. And then we should be re-signing 6 or 7 players. Minimum. Absolutely minimum. But let me know what you guys think. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. A-Fran says we should keep Pellistri. I don't know. I think we should keep Ahmad. I think Ahmad's further along on his development. I think Pellistri has the potential to be a good player. I'm just not sure whether he's physical enough for the Premier League. Ahmad's the same. I think both of them are quite weak and small. So for me personally, I would keep Ahmad and let Pellistri go. But yeah, you can let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's move over to this story about the players effectively giving up on Erik Ten Hag. So the headline is that Erik Ten Hag is facing an anxious wait to learn his fate. It says Jim Ratcliffe and his leadership team are now weighing up all of their options, having given Ten Hag no assurances he will remain in charge. It then goes on to say that there is now serious concern that Ten Hag has lost the confidence of his squad. I mean, that's pretty obvious to see, isn't it? Like, anybody who watched the game last night, it was so obvious that these players aren't playing for him anymore. It was so obvious that they're all just blaming each other. They're probably starting to blame the manager, saying it's his fault. You know, we're better than we're good. We're not the problem. It's the manager. Anthony's probably throwing Erik Ten Hag under the bus. Onana's probably throwing Erik Ten Hag under the bus. Like, even the people that were brought in by Erik Ten Hag, they're probably still throwing Erik Ten Hag under the bus now, because they know that if they want to have a future at Manchester United, the fault needs to be on the manager, not on them. It needs to be his fault that they lost 4-0, you know, that because he set them up poorly. Like, it's just frustrating, isn't it? Because we've seen this happen before. But there's not really too much we can do about it, is there? Like, we are where we are. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But let's have a look. And then, I mean, keeping on the topics of managers, Fabrizio Romano is reporting this evening that if Erik Ten Hag is sacked, Thomas Tuchel would be very open to becoming the Manchester United manager this summer. even if they don't have European football. So I would say at this point, it looks incredibly likely that that Thomas Tuchel will become the United manager, in my opinion. I don't think it'll be Graham Potter. I don't think it'll be Gareth Southgate. I think Erik Ten Hag will end up at Ajax and we'll end up with Thomas Tuchel. And you know what? I still want Erik Ten Hag to stay, but if we sell all of the players that I listed earlier on, plus others that should be going, and a new manager comes in and we have 250 million to spend, I probably won't be complaining, to be honest, because the most important thing for me now is that we clear out these players. And if that means Erik Ten Hag goes as well, then fine. I'm willing to accept that now. Just to be clear, I'm not Erik Ten Hag out, but I'm just saying, if the situation arises where Ineos say, we're going to rebuild, we're going to clear the squad out, and we want a new manager to kind of start fresh on the new project, I would understand that decision. I would respect that decision, and I would be happy with that decision. I would. But if we find out that Erik Ten Hag's going to be sacked, and then Lindelof, Donny van de Beek, Casemiro, Eriksen, Varane, whoever it might be, are all going to stay and be part of the new project, I would think that would be a disgrace, personally. But let me know what you guys think. For me, I'm actually quite excited about the future. I know people at home are like depressed watching the football. It is depressing. I get that. But I'm actually quite excited about the future because I have such high expectations for Ineos. They have to prove us all wrong. Most of the people in this fan base wanted the Glazers gone, wanted Qatar because of what they were bringing. Maybe, there was obviously question marks around Qatar, of course, but most people wanted the Qatari bid to win. We didn't get what we wanted. We've kept the Glazers. We've got Ineos. Ineos have a massive point to prove, and they can start by doing it this summer. That's the most important thing for me, is that we get rid of players and we start afresh. But let me know what you guys think. What's the most important thing? Cosmo's saying 8 players who started last night were Erik Ten Hag signings. I've seen people saying this on Twitter, and I don't want to offend you, mate, but I just think that's the most basic argument, and I just don't think it's very fair at all. So somebody in the chat is saying 8 players who started were Erik Ten Hag signings, okay? And I respect it. Let's do that. So Onana, he was his number 1 signing. I agree with you there. Johnny Evans, Erik Ten Hag wanted Kim Min-jae. Did he get him? No, he didn't get Kim Min-jae. He got Johnny Evans. I remember when I did the video for Johnny Evans signing for Manchester United, I think we had about 2,000 people watching, and everybody in the comment section was like, what the hell are you talking about? Johnny Evans, the guy who just got released by Leicester, who've just been relegated. He is the 6th choice centre-back. He just got relegated to the Championship, and even Leicester didn't want him. And you're trying to sit here telling me that Erik Ten Hag had 8 of his signings on the pitch last night. He was a free agent. He cost nothing. He's 36 years of age, and he was injured last night as well. Casemiro, similar. We wanted Frankie de Jong. Okay? We wanted Frankie de Jong. We didn't get Frankie de Jong. Then we wanted Adrien Rabiot. We didn't get Adrien Rabiot. We lose the first 2 games of the season against Brentford and against Brighton. And then Man United go and spend 70 million about 2 days before transfer deadline day on Casemiro and Antony. So you can't sit there and tell me that Casemiro was part of the plans. He wasn't. He was an emergency signing by John Murtough to try and back the manager after 2 poor results at the beginning of the season. Okay? So that's 3 of the signings that people are saying. Then you've got Christian Eriksen. Again, a free agent. Erik Ten Hag wanted de Jong. He wanted Rabiot. He ended up with Christian Eriksen, who, before being at Brentford, was unwanted by anybody. Antony was his first signing. He wanted him. Okay, I accept that. But we know for a fact that Manchester United spoke to Erik Ten Hag at the beginning of the transfer window, and Erik Ten Hag said, I want Antony. Ajax quoted Manchester United around 20 to 30 million pounds for Antony in the summer we bought him. Okay? 20 to 30 million. What do Manchester United do? They say no. They wait 2 months later until the end of the the window, again, after we lose to Brentford and Brighton, and then they go and give them 100 million. So yes, he got his first choice signing, but his first choice signing should have cost 20 to 30 million. Mason Mount, I'll never understand that one. I agree, that was a terrible signing. If Erik Ten Hag genuinely wanted him, it doesn't make sense to me. What's the point in having Bruno Fernandes, who has literally missed one game in 4 years and is undroppable, and then bringing in Mason Mount, who plays in the same position. That signing was stupid. The Onana signing was stupid. And then you go to Rasmus Højlund. Erik Ten Hag said it in an interview a couple of days ago with Gary Neville. He wanted Harry Kane. He was the number one target for Manchester United. That was widely reported for months and months and months and months. What does he end up with? He ends up with a player from the Serie A who I think scored, 7 goals? And we pay £70 million for him. Are you starting to see the what's the word? The not the format. I can't think of the word. My brain's not working. Are you starting to see the pattern? That's the word I'm looking for. Are you starting to see the pattern here? Because I am. Erik Ten Hag wants Kim Min-jae. He ends up with a 36-year-old Johnny Evans, and people in the chat are saying, "Oh, he had his signing at centre back. He had Johnny Evans playing. That's an Erik Ten Hag signing." You really think that Erik Ten Hag wanted Johnny Evans? He probably was. I remember, as I said to you guys, I remember when I did the Johnny Evans video. The Johnny Evans signing was meant to be for a month. And people were in the comments section saying, what the hell is going on? Why the hell have Man United signed Johnny Evans as a free agent? And I was saying, it's only for a month. Don't get too excited. And then they give him a year contract because there wasn't any other option. Do you see what I'm saying here, guys? Yes, Erik Ten Hag deserves blame. Yes, he's been poor this season. But a lot of this blame has to go back to the previous regime, to the John Murters, to the Richard Arnolds, to the Glazers, because they are why we are in this mess. It's been the same for 10 years. That's why all of these other managers have failed, because of the lack of experts around them. And that's what Ineos need to change. And that's what I'm going to be judging them on this season. Sorry, this transfer window. This is the biggest transfer window in Manchester United's existence, in my lifetime anyway. This has got to be the biggest clear out we've ever seen. And if that doesn't happen, my opinion of Ineos is going to be at rock bottom, because we can all see it here as fans, what needs to happen. And if they can't, then I'm worried. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Yeah, it's frustrating, I get it, but I actually am quite excited and optimistic for the future, because we have no reason not to be. Ineos haven't proved us wrong yet. They haven't done anything bad yet. They deserve our trust. They deserve our support. Until they make a bad decision, until they mess up, we need to get behind them. We need to be positive, and we need to hope that this is just a blip in the road. The same with Arteta. Remember, last season, out of 5 years, last season was the first time that Arteta finished in the top 4. The other 2 seasons, he finished 8th, twice. Look where Arsenal are now. We have to trust the process. We need to back the manager, in my opinion. Get rid of the players. Like Arteta did, he got rid of Aubameyang, he got rid of Lacazette, he got rid of David Luiz, he got rid of everybody. I think there's only one player in that Arsenal squad who was there when he took over, and that's Saka, who was a left-back at that point. And that's what needs to happen. I'm going to wrap the video up here, though, guys. I hope everyone has enjoyed today's live show. I will be back at 11 a.m. tomorrow. If you do enjoy the live videos, I'm considering starting doing them again. Usually they're pre-recorded. Smash a like on the video, guys. If we get 200 likes on today's video, I will do the video live again tomorrow morning. I'm getting back into the swing of it. I'm starting to feel optimistic. I'm trying to forget about the football for now and focus on positivity, on selling players, bringing in players, and next season. That's all we can do. If you have enjoyed the video, though, please smash a like. Leave a comment. Why not? It helps with the engagement. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a lovely rest of your day, everybody, and I'll speak to you all at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning.